Recording. Cool. Great. Stop your PowerPoint. All right. Well, everyone, we're so glad to have you guys here for our last meeting of 2026, which is just wild and crazy that we're already here at the end of the year. But boy, what a year we've had. And I'm so very grateful for all the work that you all have done in your communities and together as a team of ECN members. And so it's been really cool to see all the impacts that have been made across the state. Hi, Casey. Um, and so we're going to take some time today to share some of that, highlight some of the work we've done. We're also going to do a large group community update, which we haven't done in a super duper long time because we've had really busy schedules and presenters, but it's really exciting to be able to have some time to gather together and share what's going on and celebrate all the fun things happening in our communities. So, um, here is our agenda for the day. Maybe we're gonna do some intros. We'll do our community updates, and then we've got a cool resource spotlight from Tracy Adams over at Thread. She's gonna talk about the business of caring, which is really exciting. And then we'll kind of do some final updates for the season, and then we'll see you guys on our next meeting in January, which I'll be sending out links for. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our community updates. And I'm just looking around to see who is here and not. So if this is the order we're going to run through for community updates. So if those people are not yet here, we'll just skip them and then start at the next one. Before we start this, Shannon, do you have any updates or anything that you wanted to share to kick us off?
Um, I saw Colleen in here. I think she's there. I know she's gonna be right back, but I just have to say, Colleen, that we were at the partnership meeting last week with A2P2, and your name came up numerous times. So and it was so fun to be able to connect with others that knew you and who you work with. So being an ECN member, and I'm just sharing some of the great work I know you do and the Matsu Valley does. That was just one. And another is just for you, I don't know, the PDG grant, the preschool development grant, which has been a big component of ECN, but also a lot of other initiatives throughout the state, ends the end of this month. So there'll be no more PDG funding. It was a 3-year grant. Well, it's actually, there was a fourth we renewed. It was an $11 million grant. It started some great things happening in the state. And just FYI, Emily Erlacher and I and Rebecca Morrissey did write for a 1-year grant. They had funds from 25 that they have to get out or else it goes back into the general fund. So we did write for it in hopes to keep some of these great initiatives going on, especially at ECN. It will still go on, but just it will help with bringing people in and doing some more stipends and all of that. So we'll hopefully cross your fingers and toes. We know by the end of this month whether we have that grant. Other than that, I think I'll leave it up to you, Rian, with going ahead and doing community updates.
Awesome. Great. Well, with that, I am not seeing anybody from Huna quite yet. So we'll go ahead and turn it over to Girdwood for our first community update.
Hi. So, I think our biggest celebration always is our new building that's just coming along so well. It's painted on the inside and it's just as beautiful as could be. You guys need to come down and see it. Um, I think that's what we're most proud of for sure. How do we hope it evolves in 2026? Well, we hope it evolves into getting a playground. We have not funded the playground yet, and we're working hard on that. Um, and it's a real important part of it all. So we'll see how that goes. And we're hoping not to have any debt. We're working on that too, trying to get it all so that there's no debt and that we own it outright. Crystal, you on there?
I am. Yeah, I think you did a great job. I've got like two photos of the building that I could share if you guys want me to, or
Yeah, we'd love
Yeah,
to.
okay,
please.
Let me stop sharing and then give you permission quick.
okay,
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so got just a couple angles. So it's mostly sided on the outside, except the top cap and some of the trim work.
Wow.
That's exciting. I've got another angle to show you of the opposite side. Looking up at the mountain, which is really like the
Wow.
views from the toddler room is just incredible. The views from the multipurpose room are amazing, and the glaciers like peek out over the tops of the surrounding buildings around us. So it's really beautiful. And then I've got just one more that's of the inside of one of the preschool rooms. And so as you can see, it's drywalled and first layer of paint is on the
Wow.
wall. And so
What a
we're,
difference.
yeah, expecting some of our finishes to be done. And they're 3 weeks ahead of schedule as of right now for construction, and looking at like a March completion. So very, very exciting.
That is so cool. You guys, to see it from just that blank lot
I
to
know,
this,
right?
you guys have
Yeah.
worked so hard. You should be proud of yourselves.
We
That's
put out
awesome.
we put out a request for proposal for our gratitude tree, and we got a few entrants in that, and so we have to make a decision on who's going to design and install that. And that's going to be a beautiful thing when you first walk in, a straight ahead view on the wall of the hallway after the lobby. It's going to be so beautiful. So we're excited to make that decision. And Crystal and I have been shopping like crazy.
Yes. Yeah, buying all the furniture, getting all the things nailed down exactly the way they should be, and yeah, watching the dates. Rachel and I meet every other day on making sure that all of our selections are done and complete before the 30th.
That is so amazing. From, like Shannon said, from the blank lot to like walls. How incredible. Wow.
I was
That is
gonna
just
say,
so
Rihanna
amazing
and
to
I'll take
see.
a drive. We'll have to take a drive.
Yeah.
You have to.
We'll
Yeah.
come out and have lunch, you guys, or coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we can walk you around the building. There's a real building now. I think when you guys were here, there was maybe the foundation was
Hmm.
poured.
Uh,
Yeah.
The first time was just the blank
it
lot,
was,
right?
yeah, it was to
It was
kind
the
of taped off or it
vision.
had posts or something. Yeah, so it was just a vision.
Yeah.
This is cool to see
So
it in the
cool.
little stages.
Very exciting for it to be real after so long. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's definitely
Thank you.
something to continue sharing. Continuing through 2026, evolving. Awesome. Let's see. Homer's not here. Fairbanks. I saw Meredith. There she is.
Hello. Finally
Hello.
making it to one of these. Um, it's on my calendar perpetually now. Um, we just at the museum yesterday we had Sensory Santa where we have Fairbanks Best Santa come in and we get to work with different clinics that work with sensory kids with sensory processing differences. So that it's just a free and low key time to see Santa, which doesn't really exist anywhere else in the community, despite there being lots of opportunities to see Santa. Um, which that kind of pushes into what we're proud of and also hoping to see evolve. Next year, we're going to do a sensory Easter bunny and just kind of try to grow that to better serve that portion of our population. And we have some pretty good relationships with providers, newly built relationships with providers. So, um, yeah, I know that we continue to struggle with hiring in the childcare like across the board in Fairbanks. I would imagine that would qualify as our biggest challenge in our community, just like the rest of the state. Um, and since the meeting in person, we now have, thanks to Casey, we have a trip planned to Dillingham and we have a trip planned to Soldotna. And then I just finished getting one set up for Nome. So that's super exciting. When I shared that at the ECN meeting, I never really dreamed that it would evolve into us getting to serve so many more communities. So that was a really unexpected treat, and it's been really fun to like see it come together and actually like create a write-up of what it is that we do rather than it just being this amorphous thing where we just show up. Um, so that's really exciting for us.
They're also going out to one of our sites, so they'll be in Maniconic as well while they're out here.
Oh, fun.
And that one's
That's
going to be me and our
amazing.
education director. I wasn't I I'm sending I can't do all of them, so there's other ones that I'm sending other staff to, but for the Dillingham one I was like, no, no, this is me. I get to go.
Oh, that'll be so awesome.
We
How fun.
can't wait.
Meredith, when we had the ATPG Pediatric Symposium, I was talking to people from various communities as well and was sharing your information at those meetings because they were coming in from
Right.
different communities. I'm like, you all should be in touch with the Fairbanks Children's Museum. And so I think
Oh,
like
thank
any way we can
you.
continue spreading the word of that amazing opportunity, it's just in programming. Yeah, we're here for it. I'm here for it. And you have a
Thank you.
puppy in your office. Sorry,
I
just
do. I
noticed.
have two. This is Janet,
Hi,
and then
puppy. Where's
this
your
is
little weenie dog?
Billy.
There it is. Sweet little girl.
Sorry, Janet. We love you too.
Too big to scoop up. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Meredith.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
updates from Fairbanks. All right, Robin from Help Me Grow.
Hello, hello. So we are in the process, well, we are going to be hiring 5 new family support specialists at Home and Grow. So in 2026, they will be starting. So we will have a whole lot more family support specialists to support the work that we're doing and to support you and the needs that you're seeing within your families. So we're super excited about that. I just looked at our numbers as of right now today. Our call center, our CAP, has opened 2,802 cases. So that's 2,800 families that we've been able to serve this year across the state. So that's super exciting. And then total cases that we've had since the inception of Help Me Grow is almost 8,500. So we're sitting close to that. By the end of the year, I hope we'll reach that. Um, Gosh, it's been a really great year. We had some challenges in the middle of the year with some staff that was, new staff, old staff, and but the team has really navigated that really well, and we were able to just pick up and like, just like nothing had happened and just move through. And so nobody was denied anything and so it was great. We've had a great year. 2026, I just hope that the momentum continues and are looking at 4,000 families that we were able to serve at the end of the year. That would be amazing. But Rianne's smiling.
That's
So
awesome and chaotic but we've got 5 new people coming on board. This is amazing.
yeah, it's great. So we're growing, which is awesome. And yeah, partnerships, Rianne and Robin show.
Yeah.
Are always strong, and so it's great to be able to be here. Oh, joining the ECN was a highlight of my
Yeah.
year as well. So, all right, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin. Yes, we are so happy to have Help Me Grow here as part of the ECN. But anyway, I know Casey sent in a request due to have partnership meetings come down to Seward, which is exciting. So we might be focusing on our South Central and Southeast regions this next year for visits. We've got areas that we totally want to get to, but the state is big and our team is small, but we are going to try as much as we can to connect with as many people as possible. Awesome. Thank you, Robin. How about Juno? I saw Nikki. There she is. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Nikki with Southeast Childhood Collective, formerly known as AEYC, and we are a regional child care resource and referral office in Juneau. And we've got a lot going on. I'd say our local successes, I really want to highlight our partnership. Work that we're doing. We had a great, inspiring strategic planning meeting in September, and we had several subcommittees established, and we're doing work on early literacy and also grandparent and kin care because we know so many families are extended family members are caring for children because of the lack of childcare or other circumstances in their lives. And we also have movement on our family center project. We've got partners coming together on that. A challenge, of course, is the lack of childcare. We did get a PDG grant to support programs to pursue licensing, and so we are working with a handful of providers there. But it's slow going, which is unfortunate because the need is so great. It also, though, has kind of crystallized our community in better understanding the role that childcare plays, which I say that with an eye roll because I just don't know why it's taken so long for people to understand that it's the workforce behind the workforce. But in kind of a switch, childcare has been a priority in many of these venues, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce or the city strategic plan. And they say, we imagine childcare will be a, sustainable force in our community. And now we're getting them to reword that into action plans. So trying to really get community leaders behind this with us to get more movement in opening programs. To that end, our second year of our child care apprenticeship program is in full swing. We have another cohort of 5 persons going through that. The last one, everybody graduated. They're all still working in Juneau. One is looking at opening her own program. So it's been really great because we know that in order to build capacity, we have to build the workforce. So we're real active on that. Let's see. Upcoming events, I'm kind of drawing a blank on that one. It's sort of these smaller things that partners are working on. There are lots of different parenting groups and things happening, but not a big community event, not until April. And then I'd say a real accomplishment and pride is the behind the scenes work that we've done on our family center, getting our formal cost analysis and working with architects and solidifying our plan, and also actively approaching different foundations and federal organizations for funding. So I'm very much looking forward to the future, Crystal and Joan, when we get to be as close to opening as you are. So that's a ways down the road, but we're working hard.
Oh, that's awesome, Nikki. What a great update. I'm so proud of you guys. That's a lot that happened this year. And a name change and your conference coming up and building and meeting with people and asking for money. Like lots of great, incredible growth opportunities for you all at Southeast Early Childhood Collective. Very excited to use that name officially now. Well,
Mostly
I
officially,
mean,
we're
I'm
stuck.
not writing you a check right now, so
Yeah,
like I can say to
we're
my
stuck
words.
in the IRS because of the
Yeah,
shutdown. That's all been delayed, but yeah,
yeah.
we're half official.
I was
As
just going
close
to
as you
ask
can
that
be.
because of grants and stuff.
Yeah.
So coming
Yeah.
to the new grant year, you will be official, right? So
As soon
yeah,
as we're completely official, we've got a letter that
Oh,
to
perfect.
perfect.
circulate to all partners to update them on everything. But yeah, the shutdown didn't do us any favors. So
No, it didn't do anybody any favors,
Sounds
but
no.
like you and
slow
many
things
others,
down.
right? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing,
All
Nikki.
right,
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
All right, Annie, our friends in Dillingham.
Hello. Well, I'm a little schizo. I was gone for 2 weeks, and so now I'm digging through the pile of stuff. But we got our Angel Tree project done in coordination with Family Services. So gifts went out. I didn't help with this because I was gone, but gifts went out to all the villages, I think, and all the Head Start kids. And I think local families are still picking them up for a while, just to make sure everybody has access. Um, our challenge is just this competition for preschool kids and the lack of 0 to 3 care. If we had early Head Start, we could switch our slots from Head Start to early Head Start, but because we don't, we can't do that. Otherwise, we would be seriously thinking about it. But kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I've talked to both districts. Also, the Seventh-day Church across the street opened a pre-K program, so we're now in competition with two different entities in Dillingham, and it's just so frustrating. They just don't understand what the financial repercussions are going to be because we're looking at a loss of $600,000, which is half of our federal grant, which will close between two and three of our five classrooms. So trying to educate people, they come in and they have, oh, we're going to do this. It's going to be great. And it's like, no, wait, you have to understand what else is going on before you can make these decisions. And it's just hard to, explain things to people who haven't lived in it. Upcoming events, we have all kinds of stuff. We were gonna do a skate swap this month, but it just got crazy. So we're gonna kick it off to January and have a little bit of breathing room to get some new skates for door prizes and stuff like that. We've got the Beaver Roundup, the Fairbanks Museum's coming out for that, heading out to Manicota as well as Dillingham. The school miraculously gave us both days for free. So they're going to be able to cycle through the kids during their school day, and then it'll be open to the public the next day. So that's cool. Our accomplishments that we are working on that kind of evolves into 2026 is this whole new collaboration with the three BB&A departments so that families looking to access services, we will have a standard family needs assessment between the three departments, and we've built an internal referral system, and we're just hammering out the last details on the shared case management documents and how that's going to work. So we're real close. We hope to go live in January. We're still kind of messing with the system. Like I thought it was a real easy one. I'm like, oh, I'll just refer this family to the food bank. I'll test this out as a test bunny case. Well, it got kind of messed up, which is good. That's why we do these test bunny cases. But um, so yeah, we're starting to do a few more just live cases to see where the hiccups are. And the IT's been great. Um, the folks that we've got helping us have been fantastic. They have a super long name and it's buried right now, but I can put it in the chat later. They're available for TNTA for tribes. So I think they're mostly like working with ICWA tribes, but they've been great and they're free and they've been with us for a year now. So and they've written the policy manuals, they've done all that stuff that everybody doesn't get to. So yeah, we're excited about that moving forward and trying to make it work. That's
Heck
about
yeah,
it.
and that is very cool. Just thinking about a streamlined system for families, like once they do one application, like here's all the things that you actually qualify for.
Mhm.
That is very, very cool. And the hardest part of that is like learning the system, but then like you said, creating the how-to and the P and Ps. And when somebody else can do that for you, like, phew, that's a huge
Honestly,
relief.
it's huge. I hate that stuff. Like I'm
Yeah,
a
it is.
great at starting projects, but like documenting what we do, not my thing.
And explaining it in a way that everybody else gets it, like
Mhm.
that is very hard. So that's awesome. Yeah. When you get that name, you can either put it on the Padlet, email it to us, or whatever. We can get that name out to everybody.
Yeah, I'll dig it out right
Um,
now while I'm
I'm
listening to
also
other
super
folks.
excited to hear that the school is partnering with you, especially for that day with the Fairbanks Children's Museum. That's a really
Mhm.
cool. Maybe it's a good bridge building opportunity too for future opportunities and yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I've known the elementary school principal. His kids went through my
yeah,
childcare system. Yeah, I know him. I've known him for years, and he's a big early childhood advocate. And he doesn't want to do pre-K, but the
yeah.
new superintendent is not backing off. So
Hmm.
I'm like, well, we could do this together, and I don't think he wants to do that. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. Just and he's interim, so he doesn't want to do anything
Oh,
earth shaking. So yeah, I don't know. It's just same old. They come and they go, and
yeah. We're gonna
everybody's
have
got a shiny idea.
be sending positive vibes to that for
Thank you.
2026, Annie. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm proud of you guys. That's a lot of big stuff this year. All right. Speaking of other big stuff, our friend Heather Burke in Kodiak. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. My microphone on my headset isn't working. I'm not sure what's happening, so just checking.
It's
I
ready
can
for a winter
resonate.
break, Heather.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I can resonate with Annie when she said when she mentioned that she's been off and it's not processing right or something she said. I can't remember what she said, but I could feel that, yeah. So Kodiak in general. So we have had quite the year. Lots of things happened, but not a lot of big overall successes like new buildings or anything fun to report on any of that. But we had child finds, we had child fairs, we had lots of fun things, camps and stuff in the summertime. So now it's kind of like we're winding down and there's lots of Christmas type activities going on. So that's kind of what our town's up to. We did get a new director for the Child Development Center on the Coast Guard base, which alleviated a lot of stress to families who needed, childcare, and they were able to open up more spaces. So that was a cheer, definitely, that somebody who used to work there came back. So everybody's pretty excited to have her back on board and kind of take the helm again to get it back on course. So we were struggling with space for the CDC for a while, so we're happy to have somebody new on board. And then we also have the YMCA. So we had some great individuals in Kodiak who worked really hard at getting an after school care program through the YMCA going here. She was a former teacher, and another lady who was, I believe she was on the city council at one point. I'm not quite sure what her role is, but together the team put together and pulled some funds together. And so now we've been able to open up a YMCA at one of the elementary schools for after school care. And they're looking at adding another one at another school later on. So we're excited to have them doing that. And then our Kodiak Early Childhood Coalition group, they've just still been working a lot on updating the web page and um, the QR code to scan instead of having the old school paper form. It's just hard getting all the programs to check off that their page is correct. So still kind of working on that, but we had a very nice meeting a couple weeks ago with the Kodiak Early Childhood Coalition. So it was nice. And then a few months ago, we had filmmaker Laura Norton Cruz come through Kodiak, the same individual who filmed the film up in Kotzebue, and can't remember the other location that she made the film about childcare and the difficulties of childcare and having to, work really hard to get licensures go through. So she came by Kodiak and I think she did some filming here and teamed with our local free lactation program, Kodiak Kindness, and some other people came down who were expanding our Kodiak Kindness lactation program, kind of expanding that concept into other places. I think uh, probably Tracy could know more about that one because I believe Noyak was here from Kotzebue, so they're expanding that kind of program to other parts of Alaska, which is exciting. Challenges, we continue to challenge with childcare, and unfortunately, it was announced that the school district is in quite a bit of debt here in Kodiak, and the putting it on the closure block again. So they have to the school board is having to come up with some ideas and concepts to how to deal with a very large debt. And they're talking about closing another school. We lost one last year. Now they're talking about another reconfiguration. So that's kind of a big challenge that the town's talking about right now. And it's pretty sad to think about, just that we've been losing enrollment numbers and the debt is too high to have open all the schools. So that's one of the things that's been a big challenge just recently.
Heather, can I ask you a
Um,
question about that?
yeah, who's
Has your
talking?
enrollment,
Oh,
sorry, it's Meredith from
yeah.
Fairbanks. Has
Mhm.
your enrollment drop, is that connected to homeschool, to IDEA? Do you know?
Uh, IDEA, you mean the
Yeah.
Individuals with Disabilities Act?
No, no, no,
Um,
sorry. No, IDEA, the Galena homeschool. I heard that they were building in Kodiak.
oh, I am not aware of that. Haven't heard about that here.
Okay, well, never mind.
Uh, no, that's okay.
It could be, yeah.
We do have AK Teach here, but they get, so if you're enrolled with AK Teach, then the school district gets funds. They count as part of their child count if they're enrolled with AK Teach. And most of our homeschool families go through that. Does
That's
that
the
make
home
sense?
program. Okay. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
know that there's just some other homeschool programs that are competing and are like
Hmm.
going into communities competing. And so I just hearing you guys are having the same enrollment issues that we are, it makes me
Yeah.
very curious, but that's wasn't trying to sidetrack.
No,
Sorry, and the dog's barking. Sorry.
no, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's a good point. Are they at a Homer,
They're out of Galena.
Galena? Because I remember a little while ago, somebody came down and had like a booth at one of our fairs, and they were promoting like a homeschool, but it had a name similar to another program. I I can't remember
I
if it
mean,
was
there's
that
a
one or
bunch
not.
of them now that are there's
Okay.
Focus, Idea, Raven, um, Cyberlinks. Those are some of the big growing ones. But anyways,
Yeah. I haven't seen any like promotion or anything in our community for IDEA. So yeah, but that's a good thing for me to keep an eye out for.
I'm going to jump in on this because I just got an email this morning that the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District sends out $8 million to IDEA to the homeschool out of Glen Allen, because we're also going to be shutting down a school and losing our pool, which is 2.5 hours to another one. But anyways,
Oh,
yes, IDEA is a thing.
yeah.
okay. Good to know. Yeah, I think that's all for Kodiak. I don't know if I answered all your questions, but those are some updates for you.
Thank you so much, Heather. Yeah, I was just about to put in the chat. I had no idea about the idea thing, how much people, communities are investing into that. I know since COVID, there has been just a big surge in um, homeschooling. And I mean, even more so than what was in the past of more people choosing to homeschool um, for various reasons. And so I'm so sorry to hear that, Heather, for your community. I know that the last year when your other school had to close, that was like pretty devastating to the community and for so many reasons. And so for it to be another conversation that feels big and scary and probably pretty traumatic again for people in terms of jobs and where's my kid going to go and just like the unknown future of education and stability in your community. So I'm really sorry to hear about that. I think that the conversation though about the homeschooling piece is a bad idea could be something that we continue talking about because Casey, if you're saying it's happening in your community as well, and you guys just got communication about it in Anchorage, and they're doing something called right sizing the district, which feels a bit interesting to call it. Since it's being recorded, I'm not going to share too much information, but it's just different right now,
Oh,
right?
can
Yes,
I
Heather, go
just say
ahead.
one
Yeah.
one fun one little shout that I was excited. I went and sat and listened to that movie that the Laura Norton Cruise production. And I got to see Casey on it, and I saw
Oh,
Tracy and Bailey, and I was like, "Oh, that's so exciting. I actually know these people in real life." And so I was very proud of myself.
yeah. That's awesome. Like, those are my friends. I work with them. I know them. That's super cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Heather. Bobby Joe, she's here on a Monday. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem. I set my alarm, made sure I was ready to be here on my day off. Um, but no, I'm happy to be here. And I guess, for the successes in my community statewide, I'm gonna always my personal favorite talk about the innovation grants. I'm not going to talk about any of the folks, the grantees that are here at ECN. I'll let them talk about their own projects. But one that just popped up that isn't a member of the ECN is the Alaska Jewish campus. They just had an opinion article in the ADN, highlighting their inclusive playground, which is really exciting. It's a multi-stage project, but it sounds like I haven't been able to get to Anchorage and see it myself. But it sounds like they're well on their way and have opened pieces of it. And so in the opinion article, they talk about it. It's really neat. Sensory areas, all kinds of cool things. Um, in the article, they don't mention that they talk about the Rasmussen grant. They don't mention innovation grant, but however, they were a recipient and they are a grantee that has come to quite a few of our support sessions. So that's just a really exciting project, and I personally thought that one was really neat. It was the only kind of one focusing on all inclusive and opening it up to the community as well of our grant recipients. So that's a neat one. And let's see. So resources with our community or with grantees, sorry. What resources have we been sharing? As our grant cycle is ending, my 2 years with these folks are ending. We've really just been focusing on wrapping up and providing all the resources throughout the year that we have done. And so we had our last support session recently. It was really fun. We played Jeopardy, and that was great. And let's see. Oh, another piece that I know CCPO announced a while ago, but again, is we're looking back on the year. Another thing is the $5.9 million increase that we had to the child care grant program, which is really exciting. So that, encompasses base rate increase, revised billing workbook, and just making it a better standard rate, higher standard rate for our providers, which is really exciting. And then the other thing I wanted to announce, we had in partnership with Thread, we were able to put out the Roots Awards, retaining our outstanding teacher stipends. And we had, let's see, 1,774 total recipients. And each of those checks went out for $3,165. So that's really exciting and, shows the impact to the individuals in the community, which is really exciting. Um, so yeah, I think, and then just in the future, I'm again wrapping up my special project with the innovation grants, and so we're partnering with Stellar, and we'll be putting out some one-page briefs on all the grant recipients. So that's really exciting with their help getting more information and having something tangible that they can disperse throughout their community and really brag about their programs, which is super exciting, and hopefully use that to work on future donors. Say, hey, look at all the great things we've done, and now we just need some more money and support.
Yeah. That's very cool, Bobby Joe. Super awesome. Like, phew, what a big time to wrap things, or what a big project to be wrapping up. Like so many impacts from the innovation project, from the PDG grant in general, just huge, huge ways that Alaska has grown and the children, youth, and families are going to benefit from for years to come. Like, I just am constantly, anytime I go to communities where they talk about funding that they got from PDG through the innovation grant, I'm just thinking about how for like longevity of the benefit that this grant is going to be able to touch the lives in a positive way. I just love it. Annie, see your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out there that we got an email from um, Christina Holquist this morning that says her last day is the end of December. She will be moving on. So
I
super
know.
sad to hear. But just adding to Bobby Joe's report.
I know. What an
Yeah.
incredible force, right? What an incredible, friendly, loving force that we've had in Christina Holquist for so many years. And so excited for her for her next adventure and just so devastated in a sense of like, oh my God, what are y'all gonna do? She just is a wealth of knowledge and kindness and advocacy. So yeah, thank you for highlighting that, Annie.
I'm gonna say she's a good partner in a number of different projects that we all
Yeah.
do. So she will be missed in that aspect, but we know where she's at in her number. So Annie, we can
Yeah.
always get her. But I did put the article in the chat
I
that
think
Bobby
you
Joe was
can.
talking about. If you want to read it, it is pretty good.
Awesome. Great. Let's see. Thank you, Bobby Joe. Let's go ahead and go to Kotzebue, Bailey,
Hi.
or Rita, whoever's sharing.
I'll let Rita talk about the community childcare. I'll focus on ours.
Okay, great.
Success or celebration. I think we've talked about it before, but we're expanding our diaper bank. So we'll still do disposable diapers as people need, but we'll expand ages. So we'll do potty training, tips and supplies. And we've gotten a few cloth diapers donated, so we're going to start doing cloth diapers as well. A challenge is always employees, recruiting employees, training, just getting people interested in childcare, any part of it. And then upcoming events, we did a Thanksgiving food giveaway, so we gave a box to a family in Kotzebue and then a family in the surrounding villages. So we'll do the same with Christmas food. And then we've got some toddler baby winter clothes to give away as well. And accomplishment of 2025, I'm sure my mom would have something really nice written, but I think an accomplishment is that we're still open and operating. And I hope that evolves into 2026.
You're like that same energy. Keep that same energy going into the new year. I think a lot of us can probably agree on that as well. Yay. That is a huge success.
And then Rita could share about community childcare if she'd like to.
Yeah, hi everybody. We're making a lot of progress with our childcare center. It's starting to really become clear like what the rooms are even going to look like. So we had a site visit. We submitted our concept design back to the school district and their architect team. So it's been kind of a back and forth. And I think we're landing in a really good spot. Using the existing footprint, trying to keep our renovations as minimal as we can while making it work, for future school use, but also work for our childcare center. So what we've kind of come up with for now, I'm really excited about. Tracy and myself and a couple other leaders around town have done some work as far as coming up with some training and really trying to get that off the ground. And so our first training session will be in February that lines up with our school district in-service. Tracy's daycare has an in-service day and our AnyPack immersion program. And so we're going to bring all of these staff together. We're going to include foster parents. I think it's going to be really nice. And Tracy and I were saying that hopefully we can kind of like replicate how we felt after, leaving the ECN retreat, really supported, connected with the community. And hopefully we can give that to the providers here in Kotzebue. So that's, all of these people are so busy just that they came together. I know Tracy had to step away for another meeting, but we just both felt so thankful that all of these like powerhouses could get together and we can get this off the ground. I think for this year, we're just so proud of where we're at with this working group, how far we've come. And we're hoping to open in fall, August, or September of 2026.
Yay. That's
Yeah.
very exciting, Rita. Oh my goodness. To see plans like drawn out, like classrooms organized, training schedules created and ready to go, like you're
Mhm.
already almost there, right?
Yeah.
Like put the doors in, we're ready.
Yes.
That's really,
Yes.
really cool. Well,
Great. Thank
again,
you.
lots of good energy going into 2026 with that.
Mhm.
So, so cool. Well, thanks for sharing, girls. We're happy to hear so many great things happening up in Kotzebue. Abby, hello. Please,
Everyone.
everyone,
Hi.
notice how beautiful Abby's hair is. She's usually
Oh,
blonde, but the last time we
oh,
talked to her, she had gone brown and it looks so stunning. It is
oh,
stunning.
thank you. Oh my gosh. Thanks. It's too expensive to be blonde in Alaska in the summertime. So yeah, and my water's super mineral rich, so that's an extra layer. So anyway, thank you. Okay, so success celebration. I think one of the biggest successes here locally was getting through some strategic planning and really refining how we're doing this and looking at, how can we get more out of the effort that we're doing rather than putting up constantly looking for more and more events, like maybe just partnering on an event that already exists and is super successful and embedding this work in that. And so we've really gotten smarter with the way we're doing things in our community, which has just been a learning curve. So I'm really proud of that. Um, and just what's evolved from our 100% communities initiative. So just being part of something so much bigger than just early childhood in our community has changed a lot too. So um, when it comes to challenge, and I'm bringing this up, I mean, there's so many challenges, right? But this is fresh on my mind. So we just had an incredible event, which would also be a success this weekend. We had our first early childhood education provider meet and greet. And so all of our providers were able to get together and we had food catered, we had training. So all of them walked out with 5 credit hours. We had networking built into it. And we also had a focus group built into this. And this was all because of Casey's group with Hyper providing us some funding and honestly, really the format and idea of how to do this. And so we held that this last weekend. It was incredible. And one of the things that came to mind or came up in this through the focus group and just discussion was um, communication breakdowns in our community. So we had, as an example, we had several childcare providers, but we had two sitting next to each other in this meeting. One who has 3 infant spots open and another who has a wait list of 6 people for infant spots. And so we're sitting there and, maybe the distance, it might not physically be the right fit for these families, but we're lacking in communication and how we can partner and help families get off of wait lists. Like, I truly don't believe it's a spots issue. I think we're not communicating when we have these sought after spots available. And so that has been a challenge. And I think something that I'm excited for future events like this in figuring out a local solution on how we can improve communication across childcare providers on spots opening up. Just that could change the game for some of our families and our referring agencies, of course. Upcoming events. So we were very excited about that provider meet and greet, which went really well, and we will continue to hold those on a quarterly basis to continue the conversation and find local solutions, but also bring in professional development. And then we're also looking forward to, we have our first community baby shower on Valentine's Day with the cutest little tagline of sweethearts and new starts. And so we're excited about that in the community. And then I'm also very excited to welcome the Fairbanks Children's Museum this summer at our big Family Day event. And their mission really shaped the theme for this year's event, which is learning through play. So we're really excited to have all kinds of activities and advice and support to families on how to get down on the floor and play with your kiddos, and then showcase Fairbanks, the Fairbanks Museum at the event. And then I'm just proud of, we've made a lot of progress. There's just a lot happening, a lot of momentum and a lot of hope going into 2026. And a lot of that comes from just improved communication and really refining how we're doing things and bringing new faces to the table. So that being said, our action team under 100% Communities, which is our early childhood education action team, we now have 2 leads for that group. So I can focus on parent supports, which is another action team. And those leads, I would love to introduce Rianne and Shannon to this group. One of them specifically, so it might be me and her name is Ashley, and she is a retired childcare provider of many, many decades and now wants to step into more of an advocacy role. So she's going to be leading that action team, and I'd love for her to join. It's been tough getting Frontier here, so I think we just need to talk about switching up that co-lead here.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. That's great. Yeah. That's super cool. I mean,
That's it for me.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
This
I
is
was just
so
saying that's it
good.
for me.
Yeah, no, so many good things happening in your region. And I know that the 100% Communities was a game changer for your the Central Kenai Peninsula. And as I've even gotten around and to other communities and talked about it, I know Ann and I talked about it whenever we were in Dillingham, just that idea of everybody being on the same page and commitment to those different pillars, like what made sense for their community. And so I've been able to talk a little bit more about it. I need to actually read the book, but so that I understand it at a much broader lens. But I often drop your name and the examples of the way that your community has restructured itself in terms of needs and success based on that model, which is really cool. I totally hear you with the lack of communication in terms of openings and closure or vacancies for childcare. We recently had a huge facility here in Anchorage close that had been around for super long, and they had to close. And so my son's childcare provider has been a licensed provider for a really long time. So she's just had like friends who've gone to her trainings for with her forever. So they created this little cohort and they co-plan together. So like somebody does like this quarter and they kind of plan activities and themes. And so they trade off with one another, and then they communicate whenever there's a vacancy or they have a wait list. They're like, hey, I've got 3 kids on my wait list. Does anybody around here have any openings? And there's like 14 people. And so whenever that closure happened, they were all, I like let her know. I was like, hey, Boys and Girls Club here in Anchorage is closing. You're going to get a lot of requests for infant and toddler and preschool slots. And she's like, we're on it. And so they all like started facilitating conversations. So whenever parents started calling them, they knew exactly how many openings they had. Like that is like on the ground work, knowing that they're business leaders, right? Like we can support ourselves and others by being a strong entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a business leader, by getting ourselves business and being truthful about what our vacancies are and everything. So I think too, and Tracy will talk about it a little bit here whenever we do our business of caring. I think that level of like, you are a business too, like let's help each other be better business owners and providers by like informing when we have vacancies, instead of competing, let's be on the same page together. So yeah, that might also, as you guys are part of this, that might be a good example to share. Happy to write it up for you if need be. But thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate all you guys are doing. Okay, so Colleen had to step out for another meeting, and I have her update. So they said there's lots of staffing changes right now happening at Rock Sioux. And they've just been waiting for the dust to settle as like they're rearranging workloads and priorities, which is why she hasn't been able to be here as often. They wrapped up their 4th community baby shower in November, and they had about 200 people attend. And over and they had four baby showers in 2025. She said our child abuse prevention efforts are expanding to a year-round effort, which is really cool. That work group has a ton of plans, including lots of community challenges, highlighting youth voices, highlighting our 1 minute stories, TikTok videos, and building on buy-in with other community partners. We're building up momentum in our Parent Nation work group. The group stems from a book we have hosted during April. So I have a group of very passionate parents and community members that want to do things like a community clothing swap and financial literacy trainings. And they're working on pushing out an RFP for PACES and RR e-learning modules. So another very busy community with lots of cool stuff happening. Anchorage. I saw Amy Simpson here. There she is, her little square. Hello, Amy.
Hi, everybody. It's so cool to hear all the great things that are going on everywhere. It's through my history here, when I get frustrated, I say, "Oh, if we only were Haines or, smaller communities where it's so much easier to get everybody in the same room." And so I'm fairly new to the ECN in Anchorage, although I'm always involved in everything all over the place. But we did have a community baby shower. That was really fun. Not a lot of folks, probably about for Anchorage. I mean, we probably had about somewhere between 40 and 50 new parents, expecting parents. Yeah. So, but on one end, I got to spend a lot of time talking with them you know, about all sorts of things. I did a quiz on child development, and so it's amazing how competitive people can be in those process. So I'd give them a sheet that had developmental milestones, and they had to choose which age kids do them on, and then they got a prize. And so it was lots of fun to be able to communicate with them. Um, the so Probably the challenge of our community is I don't think we are as engaged as we could be. I think that um, and maybe it's because I'm new and all that, but we have trouble meeting, regularly. I think we could use a little something something to get the Anchorage early childhood community on track. Um, I have, PIC has been a benefit in that I think we had kind of a shovel-ready project, and so our we have a diaper pantry, and we have a project, what we call Swaddle Me, which is we give baby gifts to every newborn baby and family in Anchorage, through all four hospitals and birthing centers. So about 4,000 gifts a year we give out. Um, on Friday, I had a group of volunteers come, and they made almost 1,000 gifts. So yay, that was so nice. Um, and and we also decided that one thing that is supported, instead of having all the brochures and everything in the bags, which I'm sure families just kind of toss because they just had a baby, and why would I hold on to all these 40 pieces of paper, right? So we or I created a digital family resource book, and created what is it? I don't have it. Ew. A magnet that has a QR code, and then families can access it anytime they want. We also are uh, translating it into at least 5 different languages, probably more. I had a brainstorm the other day about how I can do a couple more languages that aren't easily AI'd. So so yeah, so we will add more languages to that, and that is ready to go. So the magnets are in the bags, and those are the bags that everybody put together on Friday. So yeah, I will share the link, and yeah, and the cool thing about it is that I can update these this booklet at any time. And so the QR code never changes. It's all the same, but families can go through and find the resource booklet that they most get the most information out of. And so, and we can update that for a season, for if there's a big change. And so I'm really excited about that. Upcoming events. Well, we're going to do another community baby shower in April. We'll see how that goes. I think it's going to coincide with the Week of the Young Child. Um, uh, and and yeah, I mean, it's I'm proud that they all came together around Swaddle Me, so that's great. That's kind of my baby. We've been doing it for 3 years now at Pick, and so I think it would be really nice if it was a gift from the whole early childhood community and and yeah, and so we were able to we put in a swaddle blanket and a Help Me Grow gives us books and milestone moments and it's really lovely. We're really happy about that. Um, for 2026, I hope that we all just kind of come together, be a little bit more engaged or a lot more engaged, and perhaps have more of a plan. Just hearing Abby talk, just having some sort of plan around early childhood for Anchorage. When we were together, that's when I learned about the 100% communities, and I thought, oh, that sounds amazing. Um, but I, I, I'm hopeful that the Anchorage community, like we have, I don't know, probably, I don't know, 50, 60 people listed on the emails for the meetings, but the same 5 people show up. So I think we could do a lot better in if engaging people in something that is community wide. So yeah, so that's where I am. I think hopeful that something can come along there.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy, I'm right on the same page as you as just like somebody who lives in Anchorage is all and also like a family in Anchorage, right? Like seeing some of the communities and hearing the awesome things that these different groups do for families, it often makes me think like, wow, what could we do for here in Anchorage just for like our local community? Because we often get wrapped into, and by no fault, of anybody, but we often get wrapped into the statewide piece because of being a hub. And so I'm excited to think too, along with you and both of you, Amy's, to think about like what we can do with the coalition this next year and how we can get them excited. I think maybe even having some guest presenters, like some coalitions like Nikki's and Juno, and then the group in Kenai, it'd be great to just like have maybe some like little cheerleaders around us to get everybody excited and going. So you're not alone. I feel with you guys and want to participate as well. So 2026 can be our year, Amy.
I'm running out of years, so
I
it
know you
better
are.
be
That's why I'm
soon.
saying it's gotta be this year. Well, we appreciate every one of your years and everyone that we continue to get to work with you. Whoopsies. Let's see. Who are we up to next? We've got Gnome, Veronica.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see anything. I'm on my phone, so it's really hard to see what's available. I don't even know what part of my face might be showing, but
You look great.
um so just some highlights. I mean, I think we've been keeping this community baby shower going. So I was glad that it always just comes together, and thankful for the funding we receive and Norton Sound's partnership with us. I think, well, in addition to that, the diaper bank, sort of establishing that, has been another success for our community. And then I'm super excited about our partnership with the Fairbanks Museum. I can't wait for that to happen. And I think just in having the conversations with our librarian and our museum director, it's just something that's sort of been a bit of a gap in Nome. And so we're really excited to introduce that partnership to the community. I think staffing still continues to be one of the biggest challenges for our community, and really a lot of burnout as well, because some of the same people are doing all the things. And I think that that's kind of hard to maintain and keep up. So, one of the goals is to hopefully get more people on board and, have more people join and take some responsibility for some of the tasks so that we can keep growing and putting that particular age group in prior for it to be a priority. um, I do hope, one of my goals for this upcoming year is to do something similar to, I can't remember which community was, but like a provider meet and greet. And just, I think, again, it was mentioned earlier, just communication sometimes just even in a small town can be challenging. And so I think having everyone in the same space and just really introducing new faces, because there's been a lot of transition, will be a good start to that communication piece. Um, we are looking to open another childcare center. We had a program close with one of our nonprofit organizations, and the need of more childcare was came up, and I think the agency is on board to move with that. What I do like about the ideas that are popping up is that it's going to be both a day and evening childcare facility. So I think that is something unique, and hopefully um, we can get that rolling. Um, and then my other goal is to make sure I'm checking the Padlet more frequently, because I know that there's a lot of information that we're probably missing out on. And I just want to keep our community connected. But yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Veronica. I also want to highlight, No recently got a big financial award from, well, Cork did, from Mackenzie Scott. Um, do you have more information on that, Veronica?
I do not.
You don't?
Right
Okay.
now, yeah, right now my connections with Coeric, like they, for whatever reason, I mean,
No,
again,
that's fine.
everybody's kind of committing to different things,
Yeah.
and so I haven't really gotten a response from them as far as like where we can support or what they're doing.
Yeah. I'll just
But
look it
that's
up
great
really
to hear.
quick. It's huge. It's actually like a lot of money. Okay,
I also know, like with Coeric, a lot of times it does expand a lot regionally, so that's good to
Oh
hear
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see. Sorry, I'm just gonna click on this. Quirk received $8 million from the Mackenzie Scott Foundation. So that's gonna go to the tribe and like the surrounding areas, which is super cool. I mean, like, especially for the region, I think that's super helpful. It's a lot of money. And I don't know like what the requirements are, but it feels pretty, I think it's unrestricted. I think they said it's
I
the
was just
largest
about to say,
yeah,
yeah, I
unrestricted
think I did hear
funding.
about this, and I think it is unrestricted, so
Yeah.
that's always great.
Yeah, Quirk has received the largest unrestricted grant in its history, 8 million from Mackenzie Scott Foundation.
I will
Love
say that
it.
through the, just conversations, I have heard there's been talk about sort of an immersion school
Mm,
program type of thing. They started it out at the elementary school and it just kind of didn't work out. So I think um, there's been conversations through Coeric about sort of starting like a separate
yeah.
school. So
Yeah. That's very cool. Well, I'm excited to hear how it positively impacts your community. 8 million unrestricted funds. So cool. Well, thank you so much, Veronica. That's a great update from Nome. I don't think I saw Suryani on here from Unalaska, but I've got Tracy from Thread.
Hello, everybody. That's
Hello.
super exciting about the Career grant or money. I'm literally Googling it right now as we speak to learn more because that's exciting.
Yeah, I'll put
Huge.
the link in the chat. I know just saw you like how do we get that money, right? How do we get considered?
Or like then I'm more excited about reading about like what Career plans to do. Like Veronica said, like that's a pretty big regional based
Yeah,
native corporation too. So then what's their plan for supporting local and regionally based support? I think that
yeah,
I'm just eager to see what they decide to do with it and how they implement things. That's super awesome.
yeah.
Super awesome. All right, updates from Thread. I have had a couple like connection time meetings with folks that I've realized more recently aren't getting the Thread newsletters and maybe aren't getting action alerts. So it triggered a thought in my mind that like, oh, maybe the ECN's a good place. We have lots of new members to kind of remind folks that if you're not getting the newsletters from Thread that encompass all of what's happening, all things Thread is supporting, all grant opportunities that Thread's providing, all of those things, you can go to our Thread website. I can actually plop it in the chat, but you just go to our threadalaska.org. You go all the way down to the very, very, very bottom, and it's on the right-hand side, and you can subscribe via email or text message to get those updates. And some of the current updates we have right now, we've got our Rooted and Ready symposiums happening. We had such good turnout for the one in Anchorage. It was full. And we had a bunch of people on the wait list, so we added a second one in Anchorage, and both of those were super successful. We were excited to be in Juneau. Um, Gosh, I'm totally blanking on the date, but it was recently after the Anchorage ones and I think before the Thanksgiving holiday. And that one, we were excited that we had several people enrolled and more people than were enrolled showed up for the training. So that was exciting. And then all of those trainings are the roadshow, like the Rooted and Ready symposium information are all on our Thread training calendar. So we'll be in Fairbanks. I thought I had this pulled up and I don't, so forgive me. I have way too many tabs open on my computer and in my brain right now. So yeah, we'll be in Sitka, Petersburg, Homer. Fairbanks is happening in January 24th, I think. Kodiak, Kenai. So yeah, check out the Thread training calendar for all those dates if you're interested or you know people in your community that are interested. I know that let's see, the next thing we have are quality initiatives right now that are open. So our newly licensed childcare provider quality initiative and our accreditation quality initiative, our infant toddler quality initiative, and our I think Go Knapsacks actually closed, just kidding. But those all close on the 22nd. So if you know of folks that are in the space of any of those three that could benefit from those opportunities, either reach directly out to me and I can send you that information or visit our Thread website under the grants opportunities. And then just an update on funding. Bobby Joe kind of spoke to a lot of these. As you guys all know, we work in partnership with the state in a lot of the funding that comes through, and we help distribute things. So the PDG funding also was a huge part of our work and things we helped execute this last year also. And some of those big things, like Bobby Joe mentioned, the Roots Awards, and those are still being processed. Our seed team, I don't know if any of you are in the process right now of waiting to get to become a seed approved trainer, or having any updates to your seed, or any if you've heard of people updating their seed account and their seed registry stuff. A lot of that has been kind of slowed down because our seed team is really trying to put all of their efforts towards getting these roots checks sent out to everybody before the end of the calendar year. So that's still happening, but yes, thanks for that update on numbers, Bobby Joe. It's super exciting. I'm super, super thrilled that we were able to help support that, and all these childcare providers are getting a really nice little extra retention bonus because we know they don't get paid as much as they should to do the work that they do. And then the other two things I just was going to highlight quickly. I don't know what just happened. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you. You're good.
My computer just did something and I can't see anything now. So I'm just going to keep talking and I'll let you know when I can see you again. So the other thing too, I just wanted to just re-emphasize the excitement and the power and the just the capacity building that the innovation grant opportunity provided everybody that was a part of that work across the state. Thread got to be a part of that work at the very beginning stages of it. And I will just say from my experience working at Thread, before when I worked at Thread as a trainer, and then now, I feel like more times than not, and all of you can probably attest to this, and we work with grant funding, right? This is kind of the nature of the work, but sometimes we get these really nice pots of money to do really incredible work, and we plan out this really great infrastructure to implement something. But typically, more times than not, we're then matched with this unrealistic timeline, and we have to hurry up and get the work done. And it's like the quality and the time and all of the things kind of start to go like this as you get closer to the ending of the project. And I just was super, super thrilled to see the innovation project be something that didn't feel like a check a box type of project. It really did feel like people could be innovative, they could be thorough in their thought processes, they had the flexibility to really meet the need in their communities and build out what they needed. They had a decent amount of funding to do that work. So I get goosebumps talking about it. I'm grateful for that opportunity to be able to help with that. And also to Bobby Joe's point earlier too, just then having to kind of, as you wrap things up, I joke that it's like when you have a baby, like you build this really great relationship with your doctor, and then you have the baby, and then you're like, wait, I don't get to see you anymore? Like, what happened? So it's that whole, I think, kind of the same theory, but I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm yeah, anyway. So then the last piece is the business of caring work that we got to pull together. And I'm gonna spotlight that here in a few minutes. So I'm gonna let the last three people give their updates before I go crazy with that. But
Yes, thank you so much, Tracy. I
and
appreciate
work on
that.
being able to see my computer before I have to.
Yeah, fiddle around with that. Yes. Thank you so much, Trace. That was awesome. Great update. All right, I see Becky from Petersburg.
Hello, I am gonna stay off camera. We have a snow day for a change. I think it's the
Yeah.
second or third one in the 23 years I've lived here, so it doesn't come.
Whoa.
Um, Lots of activities for the youth that are going on here year round, it seems like, through the school, childcare facilities, our coalition, the library, different clubs. We have a lot going on for all ages of youth. Something that's successful, I'd say, would be our resource QR code rollout. We took Katie Homeland. She was one of the founders of Kinderskog, great with photography. So we took one of her photos and we have a QR code that lists all of our local resources, regional and in the state. So that is out for our community and able to utilize it. People that are helping others will be able to pull it up if there's not a phone around. So it's just something that our coalition was happy to get off the ground. Still doing a lot of coalition restructuring and building this year and going into next year. Looking at getting a website going for our coalition, which is great to hear. WAVE and PIA, Petersburg Indian Association, and Working Against Violence for Everyone, they are staffed and strongly focusing on youth and family services, which is been excellent this last few months that we have people focusing in early childhood more than just our providers locally. Elementary school has hired a counselor, so we started our school year off with an elementary counselor, which is big for us. Not really early childhood, but we have mental health and suicide prevention presentations happening in middle school. Um, at this next month, we will be doing 3 different grades in our high school for teen mental health first aid. So then everybody in high school will have that. So even though it's not childhood, but they'll be able to recognize in others as well. It's not young childhood. We have 2 people locally that can do observations and help people get their CDAs, which is huge for Petersburg. Used to have someone come in. So that is something that is big. I don't know a whole lot on it, but I do know 2 of our WAVE people have their certificates to do that. Our a local nurse started a lactation support group this past year. I think they've met 4 or 5 times since she started, which is great to have for our community. We're re-establishing our Petersburg Childhood Alliance. We brought together a lot of our child care providers and people that work in early childhood together and re-establishing that after the holidays are over. Another big thing is Project Connect is coming in January. It is point in time count for those that are experiencing housing insecurity, but we also hold a big event where we have a lot of outdoor resources for people to utilize, clothing, tents, mats like that, also clothing, and we have a lot of our families that come through. We hold the event open for 3 hours for those that are experiencing homelessness or possibly could be. And then our last hour, we open up to the general public. So a lot of resources and clothes will be going out to our community. And then whatever's left, we usually box up and ship over to another community in Southeast here. That is a big effort that's put on with HIP, Humanity in Progress, our Share Coalition. We get the Coast Guard involved, and it's a big event that we do annually. Um, Something big that was neat to see or come together was our community really came together when the SNAP benefits were delayed. A lot of food drives. We had one of our local grocery stores that were doing a big collection, providing at our school, and Salvation Army came together. So our community really came together to support each other, and we're still making sure that all the banks, the food banks, and basic hygienes and things like that is staying readily and easily accessible to people that need it. And I'd say our biggest struggle is continually to have staffing shortages in our child care facilities, and then also limited indoor space. We have a great natural place to go out and explore, but the weather's not always the greatest, and we don't have much space for indoor to keep kids active and going and moving. I'm sure I'm missing something, but overall, I think that is a big overview of Petersburg.
Yeah, you guys are doing really awesome stuff in Petersburg. And one thing I want to highlight is how much Petersburg stepped up during your community stepped up during the government shutdown, the SNAP pause. You guys were hosting weekly, was it daily meals? You guys were hosting daily meals for people, right? Or was it weekly meals? I can't remember. There was a whole calendar of times that meals were being made for people during the month of October.
Yeah, October and
Yeah,
November,
in
big time.
November.
We had at
Yeah.
least 5 days a week that food is being provided, and then
Hmm.
kitchen bags that were going home to people that needed it as well for the
Yeah.
weekends.
It was so amazing. It was really, really cool. And then I know that the Kenai Peninsula was doing a lot of stuff with it too. So I know, Becky, that made a lot of positive impacts and made people less stressed out. So kudos to you and those in your community who really spearheaded that. That was a very meaningful effort to make sure that people felt supported during such uncertain times. So, and I'm sure people are still feeling very uncertain right now with what the heck, you guys had over a foot of snow. Like that's never happens in Petersburg.
We had way too much. We were blaming it on our elementary music, well, the music teacher, she did a big snow presentation the kids did, and then we just had our dance recital, which was inside a snow globe, is what their theme was. So we're living in a snow globe right now, which is not normal for
Literally,
us.
they just danced to the snow gods to make
Yep.
it become a snow globe. Oh, that's hysterical. I'm sure the kids are loving this. Well, thank you so much, Becky. It was great to hear from you. All right, we have two more. We have Lisa and Casey. Hi, Lisa.
Hey everyone. So I'm in Sitka, just a brief overview on our local successes as we had our first community baby shower ever in Sitka, and that was a big turnout. We had probably over 100 people as far as like including the dads and the siblings. So as far as like the registered families, probably around like 40 plus families. And we had Baby Raven Reeds there. We had the STA um, childcare program. We had Search Infant Massage, Pete Alpine Physical Therapy to focus on pelvic health. We had Sick Imagination Library. We had a swap table where everyone can just come fill a bag with a bunch of goodies that people don't need anymore. There was some activity tables where they could decorate their own onesie and take a photo booth um, picture with their family, and then a station where you can write encouraging messages. So um, we were just very excited about the turnout, and because initially we were only expecting like 5 people. So um yeah, it was great. So thank you to the ECN for helping fund that project, and we were also able to get a lot of community support, and hopefully we can make it an annual thing. Um, and also, thank you so much to the Roots Award. My coworker said she received her check in the mail, and thank you for opening that up to ILP people. We're still in shock. We can't believe that it's even real because it's such a large amount. We're just very grateful. So thank you. Um, and then we got a little mini grant for 2026 advocacy grant from the Alaska Children's Trust to just go advocate at the fly-in for key campaign to advocate for the legislator and expanding ILP funding since we've been flat funded for 11 years and would like to expand our eligibility. Um, I think our meeting goes up until 2 o'clock.
It does. That's okay. You can go
Okay.
finish, Lisa, and then we still have Casey. So we're gonna go a little bit over if that's okay with everybody, but go ahead and keep sharing. Thank you.
Okay. Well, those are the main ones, and yeah, we just want to try to continue the baby shower again as an either annual or every other year, something like that.
Oh, love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Lisa. That's so exciting. So many cool things happening in Sitka. You guys really have the right people at the right time right now for forward progress and like celebrating the strengths. So I always love hearing cool things happening out of your community. So they're lucky to have you there as that positive influence and energy to help lead some of that change. So great work. And last but not least, again, Casey, I'm sorry, I put you right at the end of all the other presentations. And then as we were going through, I was like, why does she keep being the caboose? I'm so sorry. But
It's
without
okay.
further ado, the lovely update from Seward.
Awesome. I do want to do a screen share. Will
Oh,
it?
yes.
Yeah, is that possible?
Yeah, let me make you co-host quick. And I will stop sharing mine. Go ahead.
Awesome. So one thing that I want to share is this really cool interactive map. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
KPED website? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the Kenai Peninsula Economic Development District has put together this amazing map. So this was within their own organization, but what it is this GIS overlay on the Kenai Peninsula. Let's see, hopefully it loads. You can see on the left-hand side, you can see all of our licensed childcare programs across the Kenai Peninsula. You can see them mapped out here with the little houses with the heart. And then when you get down into the system a little bit more, this purple area that you can see means if you live within this purple area on the Kenai Peninsula, it's a 15-minute drive time to any one of these licensed childcare facilities. But as you can see, if you're somebody that lives out Kasilof, Clam Gulch, oops, I went the wrong way. You're outside of that 15-minute drive time to a licensed childcare center, and it doesn't start to pick up again until you get closer to Ninilchik, and then down closer into Homer. Again, Anchor Point is an area more than 15 minutes to a licensed childcare center. So this was just, I think for our region, this is really cool. I'm really excited to see how this comes into play in some of our work. You can click on any one of these programs. You're supposed to be able to click on them. Let's see. Creative Care, and it's supposed to give you all of their contact information. So you can find either like their website. Sorry, it's going nuts. I'm maybe not doing it right, but it's supposed to give you their website, any contact information, so that way you can access that licensed childcare program. So that's really cool. And then the other thing I wanted to share on my screen is we have been working on our borough-wide education campaign. So we've started up a soft launch on it. We're calling the education campaign Peninsula Kids Now. So this is our website. We do have social media, Instagram and Facebook. Some posts have started to go there. So please follow Peninsula Kids Now if you're interested in learning more about it. But the education campaign is to help the overall community on the Kenai Peninsula understand the economic impacts of childcare. I'm going to stop sharing now. And super excited to see that come out. And so that is I think one of our biggest successes. We've been working with our partners over in Central Peninsula with Abby, been working with some partners over in Homer with Elemental Consulting. So they were able to host their provider meet and greets here in the last 2 months. Homer did theirs in November. Or Central Penn just did theirs. And that's all part of the education campaign, bringing our licensed providers together, talking about some of those barriers that they're experiencing, gathering some content for the education campaign, and getting this information out to them so they can distribute it to their families and their organizations. I think one of our biggest challenges that we're going to be seeing is continuing to work with the Central Peninsula and the Southern Peninsula, not so much in our collaboration challenges, but just coming up with unified solutions because we are so different in what our needs are in addressing the childcare issues. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves. And I don't know what the other questions were.
Oh,
Sorry, Rhiannon.
that's okay. They were upcoming events, and then what's an accomplishment that you're proud of in 2025, and how do you hope it evolves in 2026?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just seeing that KPED is really putting a lot of work into the childcare space within their own organization, being able to work with my partners across the region.
Oh no, she froze.
Happening tonight for us is the Seward City Council is going to be voting on a resolution acknowledging childcare as an economic development activity. Hopefully that will be passing. Childcare will get included in any of their economic.
We made it so far.
I know, we're so close. Casey, I think you,
introduce and
oh,
hopefully
there you are.
pass a similar resolution. So yeah, those are the things.
Awesome. Great. Well, you froze a couple times there right at the end, but we got that's okay. We got the gist of the resolution and hoping that it passes. And so we're all going to send you positive vibes and good energy for that. That map is wicked cool. Congratulations on getting that created and is active. And it's so exciting to see that families can use that just for your region. But yes, it is after 2 o'clock. Thank you everyone for sharing. I love the opportunity for us to be able to connect. Shannon, we'll see you soon, and just do some community updates together. It's great that our group has grown so much and that we have time to celebrate the great work happening and that like the chat's been blowing up with resource sharing again. So that's the great part about the community updates. And I just miss it because we've been doing so many cool presentations. But speaking of cool presentations, next month we're going to kick it off with Tracy's presentation on some help and assistance around the business of caring with starting childcare. So thank you, Tracy, for your flexibility and letting us push that to next month. But everyone have wonderful holidays and a great start to your 2026. Our next meeting is going to be on the 12th. And I will be sending out a new Zoom link for that. So we just weren't sure on how funding was going to go for next year, but we will be having some meetings. So that's exciting to get on the calendar. So I'll be sending that out to everybody here soon. So everyone have wonderful holiday season and not to be corny, but we'll see you all next year. Take care. Be safe.
Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Well,